For introduction, the statement isn't that all or any of history is, provably at least, just fake. But judging from physics, religion, and other areas, there is a strong possibility that the flow and details, specifically the intent behind sequences of events, has been tampered with in order to fulfill various agendas and hide crimes against humanity. For the last 300 years, no doubt sections are accurate. Genealogies may be traced of real people involved in politics, trade, and warfare. In fact, you would want to stick to the truth as far as possible, to give authenticity and structure. However, a student, by being led to the same ideas of nation building and empire, will overlook a struggle that may have been going on against the eradication of the old world. It is therefore lying by omission. For example, conquerors like Hannibal or Alexander the Great, the influence of these people in the Mediterranean area are well documented. As we are told, the Romans, Greeks, and Carthaginians had a highly developed bureaucracy, record keeping. But it is in the portrayal, which is easily embellished. Left, William Turner, Snowstorm, Hannibal and his army crossing the Alps, 1812. It is a story that sounds far-fetched. Perhaps he achieved it with tanks, or at least horses dragging artillery. In the sky you could imagine a single giant eye, or maybe an elephant's head from the side. Above, an etching from the same time, illustrating the types of feats necessary to substantiate the events. Getting over turbulent mountain rivers on rafts, perched on top of the animals. It is not to say the civil wars or religious goings-on aren't genuine, but who is putting the wheels in motion? It is a tactic of making outward excuses and false good intentions, like CO2 climate change or space exploration, on the taxations and hardships being inflicted in the name of development. Back then it was scientism, during a mid to late phase of the takeover and forgetting, the technologies can be handed back piecemeal. In this way, Napoleon may be the expansion of that Masonic one world order network into Russia, perhaps some of the last outposts of Tartaria needing writing out, old families infiltrated or corrupted. In the 18th century there is a strong emphasis on international naval activity as well, particularly spreading to more far-flung corners of the flat earth, Australia, the West Indies and the Arctics. Right, the maps show the rapid increase in these bases by 1889. In order to reinforce the globe lie, this presence would deter, gatekeep any further exploration. Not without the correct paperwork. The royal seal in itself a powerful thing. The narrative states this was mostly still wooden sailing ships' days. Apparently the first iron barge, is accredited to a John Wilkinson, United Kingdom, 1787. This to hide the incredible ships of all types, trains, zeppelins, hot air balloons. It is curious how we have a fully capitalist, patriarchal setup with the Victorians. Cities such as New York, Boston or Shanghai, not unlike the late 20th century. The 1700s are more veiled in mystery. Constant battles and land grabbing in Europe. A kind of dispossessed, weakened rural population, reduced instead of coming from peasant status, tools and dwellings. The brilliance of Bonaparte and Admiral Nelson, supposed cannonball and musket battles. These events were probably enforced in the early Victorian schooling system. Writers like Tolstoy in his War and Peace appear to know all the particulars of formation, different types of uniform, cavalry, place names, skirmishes. He also spends chapters espousing the wonders of Freemasonry through the reformed aristocrat character. It is a book that also shows the actual changes in society taking place. Struggling families in the tide of this giant French army, sending out sons to fight for the Tsar. It is a brooding feeling of threat he evokes. Situation whereby the noble officers of the French army would fraternize with their Russian counterparts at magnificent evening balls, dealings made in smoking rooms adjoining. Right, the sinister symbolism in the 2016 film, next to the 1950s version, a gentler time and techniques on the public consciousness. Center, the death of Admiral Nelson, Benjamin West, 1806. Below, the Battle of Trafalgar, William Brass Eye Hull, 1846 to 1917. As the quality of these paintings demonstrate, the elites can headhunt to employ the greatest talent in art, science, history and geography from the top universities. We can see here how fantastical, allegorical even it all looks. The solid gold, ornate cannon at front, flags everywhere, finery and medals. In other words, propaganda. Nelson, already gone from the look of his ashen features, very much cult of the personality, hand crooked in pocket, of course.